In this video I'll be comparing the Starfruit to the Corruptor stem. Both of these units can only be obtained by candy corns, and both of them are very rare, so let us see who comes out on top. Just before the video starts, don't make sure to like and subscribe, we're on our way to 75,000 subscribers. Anyway, let us hop into an endless game on Toxic Facility. Let's turn on maximum game speed. The scaling of the Toxic Facility really makes the comparison way more efficient. I'm going to upgrade the Prism Leaf a little bit over here. Just trying to get the Prism Leaf to max level as soon as possible. We're going to start with the Starfruit first. I'm really excited to see how good the Starfruit really is. I haven't used it since the update had come out, so I'm really excited to test it. It's my first time using it. It looks very cool. And we're leaking some stuff over here. Shouldn't be much of a problem. I'll place down another max level Prism Leaf before I place down my first Starfruit. Perhaps it would be a good idea to place over here. It has a really large range at its initial level already, and now it's handling all of the crowds really easily. And upgrade costs are also very cheap. I mean, $25,000 for the max level. That is some cheap deal for such a great unit. It really is a great unit for mid to early game. It's really cheap to place down, only $500 needed. Starts off with 16 DPS, but it's good for $500. Do remember that. We're gonna upgrade it even more, and perhaps I'll place down a few more of them before I sell the Prism Leaves. Or perhaps I can sell the Prism Leaves now, just to make it a bit fairer. I'm really excited to see if it can beat the Corruptor stem. I mean, the Corruptor stem does have a total DPS slightly higher compared to the Starfruit, but the Starfruit I think has got a slightly larger range compared to the Corruptor stem at the max level. The Starfruit has 45 max range, while on the other hand the Corruptor stem only has 43. I don't think that'll make much of a difference, but who knows. And also, the Starfruit is kind of strength in numbers. It's got 5 maximum placement, and we've just reached the maximum placement, and you can only place down 2 Corruptor stems, so that is a really big disadvantage for the Corruptor stem. Maybe not disadvantage, I mean just a characteristic, but either way, the Corruptor stem does have AoE DPS, while the Starfruit is a single target, so that is a slight advantage for the Starfruit. So both units have the pros and cons, so that would be a really intense battle in my opinion. So far wave 32, not much of an issue right here. I think the first challenge would be at wave 50, where there I think will be a boss, which is pretty tough to deal with. I think I have lost to that boss using other units. The attack of the Starfruit is actually pretty decent. The star spins towards the enemies and deals some crazy damage. This is some really unique attack, not just some laser shooting or something like that. The star literally flew to the enemies and dealt some crazy damage. But since you can place down 5 of them, so I don't think AoE makes much of a difference, because since there are many of them, they should be able to handle crowds of enemies really easily without the need for some AoE damage. But still, of course, the Vault Shade should be slightly better. Who knows, perhaps we can compare that next game. I'll perhaps do a Vault Shade versus Starfruit. That would be a really good idea in my opinion. Wave 43 now. A bunch of crowds, some flying enemies, but none of them actually make it that far at all. Some Spine Cyclone bosses got killed when it reached the range of the Starfruit. The damage it does is actually overwhelming. No wonder why it ran out of dock so quickly. Another bunch of flying enemies over here. And honestly, if you tell me to compare the Starfruit with all of the DPS units, then I'll have infinite video ideas. But I should prioritize your ideas, so make sure to drop in the comments what you want me to compare the Starfruit with. And hang on, we're actually leaking some of these enemies. Perhaps the single target DPS is actually a big disadvantage for the Starfruit. Well, let's play again, but this time with the Corruptor stem. We made it to wave 52 with the Starfruit. I think the Corruptor stem will make it slightly further. I mean, it has AoE DPS, but one other major disadvantage that the Corruptor stem has is that it has some crazy expensive upgrading costs. We can't max out the Corruptor stem that early. We could lose to wave 25 boss. I don't think we will though, because the Corruptor stem is already very good when it's placed down. So I'll just upgrade 2 prism leaves to max level. I placed down 3 last game, but that doesn't make much of a difference. If I do my early game better, we should be able to survive with only 2 of them. We shouldn't leak any enemies at early game with the prism leaf. It is one of the best units for early game in endless mode. The electric beatrice is also a very good alternative, but I do prefer the prism leaf. I think we can place down the Corruptor stem in a few waves. We are getting a ton of money for the early waves, so I think we should be able to place it down now. Perhaps just right here. It is a very good spot for the Corruptor stem, and already it's doing its AoE damage. I think it does full range AoE, but the AoE damage isn't that high at all. The single target DPS does its main damage, but it also has AoE, so perhaps that can help out the crowd at wave 50 if it manages to survive that far. I'm not really sure because I haven't used the Corruptor stem to play endless mode, or have I? I don't think so, so yeah, I'm really curious if it can make it past the Mean Rat boss. I think it comes out right now, and so far it's dealing slightly less damage compared to the Starfruit, but we survived anyway, so that's all that matters. It has some high upgrading prices compared to the Starfruit, so of course it'll do a bit worse for early game. The scaling for toxicity is really good. I mean, the bosses, the crowds, all of them are scaled pretty decent, so it's really good for some good comparison, good and fair. I'll place down my second Corruptor stem over here. I think Fault Shade against the Starfruit would really be a good video idea after I think about it. And we've got one maxed out Corruptor stem, and we're just waiting to max out the other one. I'll perhaps sell the prism leaf at this meantime, and let's max out this Corruptor stem. We're lagging a little bit. The enemies are just not coming out, and really we disconnect. And we are back with the toxic facility endless mode, and I'll perhaps skip to wave 30 for you guys. So we're just gonna max out this Corruptor stem as soon as possible. Here comes the Mean Rat boss again, and the same result. Level 4 Corruptor stem. Now we have 2 maxed out Corruptor stems, and this is where we disconnected last game. As you can see, the Corruptor stem's AoE damage really helps out a ton. Perhaps I'll sell the prism leaves now, since we've got both of the Corruptor stem maxed out. The AoE damage really helps when we're dealing with crowds, but the Starfruit still managed to survive till wave 50, until where then there was a really big group of a crowd. And yes, for bigger groups of crowds like the one on wave 50, you do need to have AoE damage in order to pass that easily. The Starfruit had the numbers, but it didn't have the AoE, so that wasn't enough. And I'm pretty confident that the Corruptor stem can make it pass through wave 50. It has some crazy single target DPS against the boss, and it also has the AoE damage which it can attack the crowds that follows the boss. We're at wave 40, 10 waves till the really hard boss and a really strong crowd. But for now we're still standing firm and strong over here with the Corruptor stems. The last time I used the Corruptor stem, I turned off the special effects, but now I turned it on. It looks really cool. It has like the red thing when it does the AoE damage. That is really special. Though I wonder why the eye doesn't shoot out any lasers. That would be pretty cool. A laser shooting eye, that would be one of the most unique units in the game. Now here comes the really strong crowd. Let's see if the Corruptor stem can survive that. Don't think so. And hang on, it can barely survive. It did leak fewer enemies compared to the Starfruit. As expected, the Corruptor stem was slightly better compared to the Starfruit. I mean, they both died on the same wave, but the Corruptor stem did leak fewer units. But still, both of them are really good, so I hope to see you next time.